super excited. This is my first ever podcast. I'm a little bit nervous. I just want to I want to start something new. I want to reach out to people. I want to kind of change the way that we really think about training horses. And I started doing reward-based training 10, 12 years ago. I had a super complicated horse. I was kind of forced into it in a way because we really couldn't figure out, even my trainers couldn't figure out really how to help this horse learn what we were trying to teach it. And having come from sort of an animal behavior background, having been really into dog training, and not on a professional level, but just having really well-behaved dogs and being really into positive reinforcement with them and realizing the value of it, I was like, why aren't we doing this with horses? It doesn't make any sense. And it really drastically changed both me and my horse when I started incorporating that. So I have then gone on and had young horses that I've gotten at 6 months and trained up through adulthood, all using these techniques and realizing all the ways that you can use reward-based training and positive reinforcement to train so many various different things. There's a lot of good trainers out there that do this kind of training. There is a lot of good clicker trainers. What I want to do with Reflections in the Saddle is really change our outlook on training in general. I want to push the boundary. I want to open up a new frontier, because there is so much that we're missing still. Like if you're out there and you're doing reward-based training, you're doing clicker training, I feel like we're on like the cusp of something really, really big. And we're kind of playing at it in this baby way. And there is so many advances that we can make. If you just follow a little bit of where the dog training world is going, or the zoo training world, and behaviorists are really moving forward in training, it will open your eyes to really kind of old school horse training is. And even though we've gone in these drastic different ways from the old ways, and we have a lot of really good advanced horsemanship people, natural horsemanship. There's people that are delving into the horse world with positive reinforcement and all of that. We still are kind of in the infancy of it. And what I want this podcast to be about is not only just educational and not only just sharing my insights, but actually having this collaborative mind together so that we can really push forward and really make a difference in how every person trains their horse. There is... I'm in love with Susan Garrett, right? So she's this phenomenal dog trainer. And she has this way of just really giving choices to dogs and then setting them up to make really phenomenal choices. We need to have that kind of foresight and that kind of direction in the horse world too. And that's what I'm hoping to bring to the horse world in a new way. A difference in your perspective, a difference in your philosophy of training, a difference in understanding how horses learn, and how we can take that to make their training more joyful. So every time that we train our horse, we're building a relationship. And I want you to think about what you want that relationship to be like. Do you want that relationship to be where you're constantly making your horse do something? Or do you want it to be more of a partnership that the two of you are working together for something beautiful? And to really have the horse working with you it's a joy. It's a joy for them. It's a joy for you. But integrating and really making the process joyful for your horse is something that's really not been, it's not been thought about. It's not really, a lot of people kind of toss the idea around, but clear set examples and kind of how-tos and what you do to make that a possibility in your horse's life is missing. It really is missing in the horse world. It is not even, it's just, I've been in the horse world for 35, 40 years. It is just not there. And it should be there. It totally should be there. It should be how each and every one of us trains. When I think about what I want Reflections from the Saddle to be, I really want it to be about breaking those barriers. The barriers of traditional training. And not that we throw everything that we know out the window, right? Because that's not how boundaries are pushed. That's not how breakthroughs are made. But we need to understand horse training, where it's come from, and then we're going to advance that to a totally new level. Like, I can't even put words to the innovative philosophy that I want to incorporate so that our horses are motivated to work with us, that they find joy in their training, that they see you coming and they just don't see, oh, someone who gives me treats, but, oh, what are we going to do today? How is my owner or my trainer, or like, what are we going to get into today? What exciting thing are we going to do today? What fun are we going to have today in our training? That's what I want training to be like. I want to inspire animals to want to do for us, to want to interact with us, to want to train with us. But I also want to give them the freedom of that choice, right? So this is where Susan Garrett is so great, because she always talks about it's your choice. Now, she sets dogs up for making really phenomenal choices, but that's a very big intent on our part. And so it's about giving the horses a voice. It's about giving them a choice, but it's also about teaching them what choices to make based on what gets reinforced. A lot of times that you're reinforcing something and you don't even know you're reinforcing it, just based on how you act. And so Reflections from the Saddle is about, how can we give horses choices? How can we reward the choices that we really, really, really want, so that the horse then wants to make that choice, right? So you're never forcing the choice on the horse, but you're making it so valuable that they want to make that choice. They want to make that choice to train and interact with you. Many, many years ago, probably 10 or so years ago, I adopted a phrase from Kathy Sadeo. She used it with dog training and animal training. But my saying was teaching horses to love learning. And I actually had that sort of, I've heard a couple people since then use it. In fact, one of my past instructors had gotten that philosophy from me, and she actually published a paper on it and uses it in her training now. At the time, it was a little insulting. It actually was also a really big compliment, because that's in theory what I want to do. I want to change everybody's perspective. Not only can we teach horses to learn things that we want, but we can teach them to love the learning process too. And so that's what I'm hoping that you're here to join me on. This is, first podcast, first kind of introduction to who I am and what I've done. If you want to learn more about me, you can go to reflectionsfromthesaddle.com. But we're going to really delve into reinforcements. We're going to really delve into these choices that we want horses to make. We're going to really delve into how to get horses to make the right choices. We're going to really delve into how to bring joy into those choices, and really delve into how to teach horses to love learning. So I'm super excited that you're here. I have no idea what this is going to grow into, and it's kind of exciting to see what it's going to grow into. I don't profess to have all the answers. I just have this vision of where horse training should go and want it to go. And I want to share what I know, but I'm also so open to collaborative minds coming together to really change the way that we think about horse training, like every day. Change the way that we think about horse training in every aspect. from how we introduce horses to the simplest management things that we have to teach them to the most advanced stuff that we ask of them in top performance. So thank you for joining me today. And this is Rebecca Douglas with her Reflections from the Saddle. And we'll see you next time. Are you interested in learning more about reward-based training? Please check out reflectionsfromthesaddle.com. There's free training there and blogs and videos and even some e-courses that you can take. We look forward to seeing you there.